Welcome, everybody. We are back again for. Oh no!
Oh no, I got it.
Oh
I can hear you.
no! There you go. There you go. There you go.
Now I
Just
can't.
really?
I can't hear you.
Oh no!
I don't know.
Like I can hear you.
I don't know. Hold on. Oh Lord.
You me try and
So
remove you?
no. Now I can hear you.
Okay. 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 I don't
Okay.
know.
Okay. Hi.
Hey, Jeffrey. Yeah, I actually was in a room earlier with Jeffrey and AP, and like we were having like AP was doing the same thing. Like one minute he could hear me, and the next minute he couldn't. So I hope it's not something overall going on with StreamYard today. I don't know. I'll actually
Well,
say that I tried to put Lyrical out last night through StreamYard and it kept glitching on LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn wouldn't have like the cover banner, like it would go haywire. So I kept like posting it, deleting it, posting it, and finally I gave up and was like, I'll try again tomorrow. Like
there you go. There you go.
maybe
So I
StreamYard and LinkedIn are having problems talking to one another tonight. And
could
yeah,
be.
so I gave up on it. But tonight we wanted to talk about something that happened this week, which was Transgender Day of Remembrance. It was on Wednesday, and obviously that's not a day that we're normally on. But you know, Jenny and I, we just felt like it was really important that we bring attention to it, that we talk about it. There are some resources that I put in the comment section for anybody that's come up. Today has been brutal for audio. Yes, Jeffrey, it has. So in the comment section, there is 3 links to 3 short videos that we're going to share tonight and talk about them. And then there's also a resource PDF that's like, I think it's 18 pages long from Liam Paschal Consulting from his business, but it has all sorts of resources and we will pull that up at the end. Like we'll go through them one at a time, but if you want to look for it, the link to the actual PDF is in the comment section here on LinkedIn. I will go out and actually put a link to the resource guide on YouTube when I'm done. It's really hard to do links like that into Spotify. So if you're listening on this, you'll have to come find this on LinkedIn to find your resources, unfortunately. But I do try and like offer that out. So tonight we really kind of wanted to talk about obviously Transgender Day of Remembrance. This year we lost 300. I saw 2 different numbers. So one say 350, another to 351 globally. Um, in the US, it depends on the numbers you look at. We've lost at least 30. Part of the problem comes along with this is that crimes, depending on what state you're in, a crime may not be investigated for hate. In Oklahoma and in North Carolina, where Jenny and I both are at, if someone is killed that is trans or non-binary, they are not going to be considered a hate crime. They just aren't. So they wouldn't even be considered in that stat reported, right? So we don't know the unnumbered. We don't know the ones that go unreported either for the same reasons, right? That it just you don't want to bring attention to it, whether that be here in the US or if that be globally. And so the first little video I wanted to pull up to kind of talk about this is this. Again, this is the short. The link to it is in whatchamacallit. And these are short. This one's not even a minute.
Today is International Transgender Day of Remembrance, a day founded 25 years ago in response to the murders of Rita Hester and Chanel Pickett to draw attention to the continued and disproportionate violence that trans people face. If this is news to you, search for statistics on transgender violence to see how it's only gotten worse over the last quarter of a century. All of the trans people that I know are struggling in the face of rising transphobia, and most have shared that the struggle is often too hard. Transphobia doesn't just kill people directly. And so today, remember the trans, non-binary and gender non-conforming people we've lost, and tell the folks we're still lucky enough to have that you love them. Do it now.
Okay. Oop. Pause. Go to the next page because I've got these set up in different pages. Share this tab instead. Okay, so let's go back to what he was talking about. And I think that is really important, right? That we talk about the communities, the people that we have lost. But it's also important that also kind of brings in perspective that at the same time to honor those who are still with us and to make sure that they know that they are supported, to make sure that they know that they are loved, that we're still here for them because the traffic, the, or not, I guess not traffic, the uptick in hate and discrimination is huge. We know it has, and especially since the election, we know that that has really kind of climbed much higher. It kind of everybody felt like kind of gave them the free right to just go out and hate where they wanted, when they wanted. There's been a mass exodus. I will say this week alone, the number of people that I'm hearing are leaving Meta platforms or leaving X to go to Blue Sky because Blue Sky does have standards and protocols and guidelines that they're willing to uphold so that people feel safe. And I think that's what it comes down to right now. In the country, no matter where you're at, it's a safety issue. And it's horrible that we have a certain part of our population that it feels like no matter where they go, they do not feel safe.
So I am kind of missed the intro at the beginning because we were having some audio issues. Hi, I'm Jenny. My pronouns are she, her. I am on TikTok at Trans Loving Mama. I am also on Blue Sky at Trans Loving Mama. And for those of you who are on TikTok and don't know this, TikTok is about to go. It's about to go. The ban is ready. It's been signed. It's going to take effect January 19th. If you have a lemon like the fruit, the number 8 account, if you create one right now, it will migrate all of your TikTok stuff, because it's a TikTok company, right over there to it. So you can find me on that platform too. I haven't really started using it. I don't know how that's going to go. It's always interesting trying to use a new platform, but I am on Blue Sky as Trans Loving Mama. It's a very interesting platform because there's not really an algorithm. So it's very much organic growth. And so I am still at like 200 and something followers. I get no traction on anything I post, and that's okay. I do, like that element of it.
That's my TikTok. That's my TikTok.
Well, I mean, I blew up in the worst way, so it's fine. There are worse things than having a light following. But that kind of brings me to, I got a really good taste of, I initially got on TikTok with the purpose of, so when my son came out, I was like, well, I want to know more. I didn't have to learn about trans people to accept, love, honor, celebrate my son, but I did want to understand, what does this look like for him? What is, I just wanted to learn more. So I got on there and I intentionally followed trans creators. I started listening to trans voices. And then, I just noticed that a lot of people were really hateful on there and would leave horrible comments. And so I thought, well, I'm going to get on there every day. I'm going to spend 20 minutes and I'm just going to go say nice things. And sometimes I would just say, hey, I think you're really cool. And I would put a little trans or pride flag. And, that's how I started there. And I obviously was very upset about the election. So I posted something along the lines of, that I was not going to be hanging out with my family for Thanksgiving. And, that's my personal boundary. It's my hashtag self-care. And
Right.
Libs of TikTok got a hold of me and they threw me on their X. And I mean, it was unreal. The people that came for me to tell me, my family's not going to miss me. And I'm so much for the tolerant left. I don't know who told anyone I was a tolerant person. I'm a loving person. I'm a compassionate person. I tolerate bad service at a restaurant, right? I tolerate bad drivers on the road. I'm not a honker. I'm not a flipper offer. I'm very tolerant of that. The word tolerate already indicates you're dealing with a negative in the best way you can, in a tolerant way. Trans people are not a negative. Gay people, lesbian people, people of color, people of different backgrounds, that they aren't bad. So I don't have to tolerate them. I accept, love, support them. But no, I don't tolerate garbage. And I don't tolerate you telling me that you care about me and my family and then taking measurable action to basically bring harm to us. I don't tolerate that. Have a nice life. But after being out there on that and really getting that experience, I'm not here to say that I understand how transgender people feel, but I understood for about a week what it was like to have complete strangers just attack you, not know you, solely based on something about you. And I was like, wow, I'm okay. These are strangers. But if I had that every single day happening, every single day, based on something about myself that I can't change, I can't hide, I can't just pretend like it's not there, because we can do that. As cisgender white women, we can do lots of things and never really let it be known who we are and what we stand for, right? We can do that whole
Right.
like, oh, I'm just like, I'm going to be here and leave politics out of it. Transgender people don't get to do that. Gay people don't get to do that. Even the ones who pass don't get to do that, because now we're coming down to, are people going to start checking genitals in the bathroom? Are people, does your ID match this? Does your gender marker on your birth certificate match that? There's always all these freaking obstacles for them that shouldn't exist. And I
Right.
got such a taste of it that it just made me realize how important our message is, but how important it is to get out there to spread, loving, affirming, celebratory, confirming things for people, because they get so much garbage thrown at them all the time. And when we talk about Trans Day of Remembrance, we have to remember that, of course, we are talking about violence against transgender people, but we're also
Yep.
talking about the things that they do to themselves as a result of being treated that way. If you already didn't feel loved, supported, honored in who you were, and that was coming at you all the time, I can't personally imagine what that would feel like every single day. And
I
I
would
don't know
say,
what I would give
I
up.
feel like a lot of it is grief, right? Like we kind of talked about this the other week, that a lot of it is grieving what they thought they had,
Right.
what they thought the future was going to look like, and
Yeah.
how close they might have thought that it was, and how it's probably not.
No.
So with that being said, let's pull up this second one because it talks about grief. Again, really brief.
Grief is one of the most delicate and universal human experiences. On Transgender Day of Remembrance, we lament the deaths of some of the boldest and most courageous among us. We mourn lives of transgender and gender diverse people lost to violence, and we remember them and tell their stories. May we mirror their courage, honoring their authenticity by using our own voices to empower and uplift one another.
Today is International
Oh, oh,
Transgender Day.
oh, stop. I had these in order on our website. That's why they keep popping up that way. Okay. I'm gonna have to like reset that because I closed off my share link, but that's all right. Um, but that I think kind of does speak to where everybody is right now. Like we're remembering the people that we grieve now. I think you've got people who are grieving the rights that they thought they had. I think they're grieving a life they thought they knew was solid and stable. And right now you have a lot of people questioning. I have a lesbian couple out of Oregon who honestly, it's not even because they're a threat. They're an older couple. It's more we we're not going to stay here and support this, and so they're able to leave the country and they are looking to go to Portugal for the time being. So again, like the real estate agents, they can go anywhere. So like I get it. There is this big, overwhelming, we don't know whether to cry, we don't know whether to scream. And that's even for allies and advocates, right? Like we don't know, you everything's up in the air. We have no idea what's going to come down, what may be passed, what then may be blocked from being to stay in place, right? What injunctions may come forward. Like there's so much. And I do think this constant, overwhelming bombardment of hate is not it's not good for anybody, but it's specifically not good for the trans community and the non-binary community right now. The gender diverse, like they are just being attacked left and right, and I think we have to kind of remember that. I've got two families that have been grieving now for almost 2 weeks because of the election results and
Yeah.
choices, unfortunately, the children made, and that was because their children were so afraid of what was going to come in the next few months and the next few years.
And it wasn't
It's overwhelming.
fear. I think that there are people who think, oh, well, like, oh, that kid was already mentally ill in some way. It's legitimate fear based on past experiences. These kids are going to school and hearing that. These kids are hearing that out in the world. Even those kids who are more sheltered from social media, because I know that, it wasn't until a certain age that my kids had like smartphones and had access to social media, and we talked about what all that meant. But you know, even kids who don't have that, like it's out there. It's not something we can act like, you know, oh, kids should be kids and they shouldn't hear that. They do. They hear it
Yep.
at their schools.
Yep.
They hear it even if their little schoolmates don't know that they're talking about them. They still hear them talking that way about other kids. And so they
Right.
feel less safe. Yeah, so it's not just like this spur of the moment thing where some, you know, young person goes, "Oh no, Donald Trump's president. Bye." It's
Right.
compounded.
And it just, I mean, yeah, there's so much. I'm still kind of reeling myself with just what this is
Right.
going to mean. I've had
Yeah.
friends who,
Lost a young person here locally the day before Trans Day of Remembrance. It was someone my daughter knew, a choir friend of hers. It was somebody that, you know, the young trans lady that lives with us knew. And it was devastating, of course, to her more than anyone. You know, it's devastating and it's sad and it shouldn't happen. And, you know, I don't know all the details about it. Even if I did, I probably wouldn't share them. But I
right,
don't know all the details about it. What I do know is this was a person who, you know, felt very lost and probably didn't get the support, the love, and, you know, just the same standard that the rest of us have. That's like, well, this is, you know, this is my home, this is my country, this is my state, this is, I just exist here like everybody else, and I have regular people challenges. They've got the regular people challenges, and then they've got extra challenges that like they can't outrun. There's
no,
no, like I said, especially when you're young, there's nowhere to go. It's going to follow you everywhere, you know, maybe while you're transitioning and while you don't quite pass.
right,
It's harder because it's just in your face how much out there is against you, and people are very emboldened right now. And I love what this last person said in that last video, that the best way that we can honor someone is to stand strong, is to continue to shine our light, use our voices for good. That's the best way to honor people.
right, right. And honestly, that it keep bringing the attention to it, keep
Right.
debunking it. That this is what's being put out there as misinformation, that it's disinformation, that this isn't correct. What the junk that you're spilling, there's no truth to that. Um, we have to have people willing to stand up, and you and I have talked about it, but we talk about this a lot on the show. It should not be the trans community that says, "Hey, give me some respect."
Right.
We've gone back to the same mentality. We talked about this with Dr. Stennett last week, but we've gone back to the same mentality that we had to do with the gay community back in the early 2000s, where we were trying to pass gay rights with whether you were talking about same-sex marriage, whether you were talking about same-sex adoption, that a lot of people were very emboldened and felt, you know, very homophobic about, and they were very open with that discrimination as well. And because that doesn't really raise enough feathers anymore, with the other side to stir up, honestly, hatred. Now it's passed on to trans people,
Yeah.
and we've seen this playbook. Like, this is just another playbook. It's just another story. We've seen what they do. We knew this was coming, potentially, and yeah, now we're gonna have to buckle in and keep fighting for what's coming forward. Not entirely sure. Katie hasn't gotten back to me which one, but my person locally that we're going to bring on about some of the legal stuff, she is either next week or 2 weeks out from then, because I know Dr. Michael or Dr. Stennett's coming back in 2 weeks from today, like the 8th, to do the show again with us. But yeah, I think when you called me, you know, to tell me about your loss, and then I had my loss, and it's just like, obviously, again, we're parents, we're arms, we're connected to it, but it's not us. We don't have to live that targeting. And yeah, just like Jenny said, like she got attacked by libs of TikTok for, you know, a week. I don't even think it was a week, it was a couple of days they got a hold of you. And
They
and
did,
and
and
that,
I stayed, you know, I'm a little embarrassed about it now. I like stayed out of the fray for like a week because I was like, you know, I was trying to like clean things up and be like, do I have anything identifying about my kids on there? Like, is there anything that could identify like where I work or, um, you know, not that my corporation is going to care that I don't want to spend Thanksgiving with my family. But you know what I mean? Like, still, I just don't want that heat. And
Right.
then I thought about it and I'm like, wait a second. Like, yes, the best thing to do was to make sure my kids weren't identified. That's a
Right.
different issue. But as far as me, like, how dare I be a coward about this? How dare I be like, oh no, you know, people might be mean to me. It might come after me. People are going to come after us. People are going to come after us. Anyone who's sitting back going, oh, this, yeah, it's going to suck and it's going to be 4 years of this. No, no, no. No, no, no. Hold on. This is awful.
Right.
We are in danger. Like, we're in danger and they're going to come no matter what. And so
Yep.
decide now where you're going to be with that.
Right.
Make a decision and, you know, pony up, because this is it. And if you sat like I did in, you know, elementary and middle school going, I can't believe people did that to those people in Germany. How in the world did that happen? I would have Anne Frank in my attic. I would protect people. If that was you and you bow down on this and you go Morning Joe on us, then you're a liar and you're a fraud. And that's the decision I made. I said that I meant this. I said that I care about this. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to take whatever heat comes my way and I'm going to deal with it because they already are. They
Right.
already are. And they have been, and they've been courageous. And how dare I not be that courageous?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, that the courage that trans people have to have just to come out and want to live, to be themselves, to tell their truth, to be authentic. Like, that is the third thing that I'm going to show is actually a trans woman who, for Transgender Day of Remembrance, actually shares 3 different poems that she wrote speaking about her experiences. And I think it's important that we remember how much courage it takes to come out and live truly is who you are. Because the amount of hate that's out there, the amount of bravery that it would take to get up and face that every single day is massive. Massive. I don't, if that were mine, because I've never lived in those shoes, I don't know. I would hope I'd be courageous enough to live out loud. I would hope. Where I came from, my age, my upbringing, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe now would be that age where I would feel like, okay, enough of the family has passed away now that, or they're like so far away from me that I don't have to worry about it anymore. But that just what a weight to have to carry every single day with you to be who you want to be. Okay, let's share. Let's share. Let me share. So this is, pull it up so I remember her name, Natasha, and she never says the way she pronounces the last name, Dinnerstein or Dinnerstein. Okay. Oh, and then I removed it the second I did that. Sorry.
Hi, everyone. I'm Natasha. I'm a poet and a trans woman. Here's 3 brief poems I would like to share with you tonight. Father Time sure gave her a spanking. No template exists for an aging trans woman. We generally die before 45 by suicide, by neglect, by being strangled and locked in the trunk of a Buick Riviera, and or thrown into a river by poor care or by overdose, when the thing we take to take away the pain eventually destroys us. I survived, learned to take care of myself, got my teeth fixed, moisturized, mothered myself. The world judges my success by appearances, yet the real meaningful growth has been internal. Self-acceptance, comfortability in my own skin. It took me 50 years, but I got here. I got here. Young people of all genders, I wish the same for you, but do it sooner. Do it quicker. Do it sooner. Here's another one. Non, je ne regrette rien. No, I don't regret anything. There's nothing sadder than somebody who's had genital surgery and regrets it, because you can't unring a bell. The first cut is the deepest, and all that. But lucky for me, I love being a woman, despite a lifetime of treatment as a second-class citizen and being deemed not to be authentic enough, although feeling very authentic, as if there can be degrees of authenticity. You know, the French call us femmes synthétiques, plastic women. And I don't mind, because they say if you can't have children, then you're not really something, but who cares? It's the price you pay, and you can't have it all. But you can. You can. Would I undo anything? Hell no. I'm a trans bitch and straddle the world of gender, and therefore have special powers, special knowledge. I can cross my legs like a woman while folding my arms like a man. Thank you. Last one is called Blackberry. I wrote the poem, but then I changed the name. There was a guy, a gender non-conforming singer called Blackberry Singer. He died. Do you know him? Yeah. They were wonderful. I really loved Blackberry. So I changed the poem to honor Blackberry. They died during the pandemic. Blackberry. Blackberry is a fierce, resilient plant and can survive harsh weather conditions. If you ever try to rip it out, you can't. Eradication, a hopeless mission. The blackberry is like my favorite sister. She is tough with a delicate flower, and her sweet, sweet skin is fine, yes, mister. Her fragrant hair a cascade of power. Her arms are strong, her legs are long and lean, and she rumbles through all sorts of trouble. The female she is and the male she's been only serve to protect her the double. She strides in her heels all over this town, and like the blackberry, she cannot be burnt down. Thank you.
I love those. Okay, let me pause this one. Stop.
So good to see you and gather.
Okay, let me switch the page. All right, and then I will actually pull this down for a moment until we bring that. I found, like I was just going through different things, trying to come up with some shorts that we could honor today with, and found her little trio of poems and was just like blown away. Because she kind of speaks to all of it. She speaks to the grief. She speaks to the fact that she's lucky in the fact that she's, at 50, she was able to, embrace herself, but that a lot of women her age don't get to that age. And why they don't get to that age?
Yeah.
Like from the violence to, again, the suicide, whether they take their own lives, like, again, I just found her poetry just kind of fit everything together. And I love the one where she's like, and I can straddle the world of gender and like cross my legs like a woman and cross my arms, like fold my arms like a man. I was like, there you go. You do it. You do it all. That's what you want. Do it all. I'm going to say Tamsin actually put up here, I can't stress enough how incredibly proud I am of both of you and other parents like you. This older trans woman is scared right along with you. I will not back down. That is, that's kind of like Jenny and I have had our different moments where we had our own fear, and it was the same thing of like, what are we going to do? And like in the moment, I will let myself be in that spot. Like sometimes I need a good cry. It's like, I just need to vent it out. And then when it's done, it's like, okay, we did that. Now let's pull ourselves together. And what's the next step? What can we do now?
I've done many things in my life afraid. And I've done many of my things in my life through tears and through anger and through all these different things. And, You know, Tamsin, I just adore you. It's just, that's, I think, what courage is. I don't know if bravery and courage are the same thing, but to me, courage is the essence of, hey, sometimes you're going to do it while shaking in your boots, but you just do it.
Right?
Um,
You might
I
be afraid, but do it anyway.
get worried that people will let their fear, especially people who call themselves allies, especially cis allies, because it would be very easy for us to just tuck away and back down.
Like,
And
this is too violent. This is too dark. I'm gonna back into my little
right,
corner and stay
not
over
here to,
here.
aren't we incredible because we don't do that. It's just there to encourage people that you don't have to do that. People are going to come for you anyway, and they're coming for other people too. And we all know that at this point, we all know that first they came for the socialists. They, or the union workers, I think, was the trade workers. I can't remember which one. The trade unions, I think, was the very first line of that. And it's like, where we go one, we go all. This is a fight for our fellow human beings. This isn't a fight for some obscure, different, type of people that need to be tolerated. This is a fight for human beings and the rights
Right?
of, and I've tried to science it because I love science. And I've tried to be like, look, there's more to it. There's more to our neurobiology. There's more to our biology than we realize. And I kind of knew deep down that was going to be a moot point for some people. I did see
Yep.
people who were receptive to that, who did start to go, my parents in particular, who were like, oh, I didn't know that, and it helped. But for the most part, it just, it's going to kind of come down to, it doesn't matter what the heck is the cause. It doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter. I saw the same thing happen when it came to, things like autism, where people were like, oh, is it a vaccine? Okay, well, then we'll quit vaccinating our kids. And the point is to prevent autism instead of, autism is autism. It's here. And we shouldn't be treating it like some kind of disease to cure or prevent. We should all be living healthier lives. We should all be
Right?
trying not to, but whenever we come at it like that, we're still treating it's this terrible problem. And it's just not a problem. The
Right?
problem is us. The problem is our reaction to it, not
Mm-hmm.
the fact that it exists. It exists and it always has. I was talking about Kit Hyam's book the last time we were on here, before we were trans, which is like kind of a new, like a revisited version, or revisiting what we think we know about the history of gender. And looking at that, it's just always been here. It's just always been here.
Right? I mean, well, we've kind of talked about that before. We talked about it last week. Like, it has been. It's been around for
Yeah, it's just
thousands,
so,
thousands of years.
but if we want to prevent violence against people, we have to find a way to prevent the dehumanization of humans,
Right?
because we've seen that happen with so many kinds of people. We saw that after 9/11.
We did.
All of a sudden it was like just this entire group of people put into this box and dehumanized. And that's exactly how Hitler got away with the deaths of 6 million people.
Right?
6 million flipping. And he named the worst.
No, no. Unfortunately,
Right.
unfortunately.
Unfortunately. So,
But this is, I mean, I think that is how we kind of get into this scary place, is we try to put everybody into a box. We try to label and, say, oh, this is the right and this is the wrong. And what if it's just, we just are?
what if we just are?
Can't we just be who we are?
Yeah, my
That's
son.
I mean, that's the question. Can we be just who we are? Like, we if you're on LinkedIn, we talk about LinkedIn, and actually for the last 2 years, we see this everywhere. Be authentic, be yourself, take off the masks, unpack your garbage, blah 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 blah. And I'm the first to admit, like, I am one of those that I've been peeling off the masks, right? Because I realized at probably my early 30s that I was not who I had wanted to be. And I had done all these different things with who I was to fit different people's viewpoints so I would
Yeah.
be accepted, right? And taking all that off was like, okay, this is who I am. And yeah, some people found that a little rougher than what they ultimately thought I was, or I was a little bit more passionate than they realized about certain topics, things like that. But for the most part, I didn't feel like I changed. I was just more myself.
Right.
And so here's something that we project all the, or not project, but that we preach all the time on LinkedIn. And the second a trans person comes out and dares to be themselves, suddenly there's all this hate of how dare you, like go back in your box, even though that's what we're preaching is for everybody to be more like make it make sense, please. It can't be the rules for this group and rules for this group and it still be equitable.
Right.
I mean, and just looking at the hate crimes and the fact that we have states, yours and mine included, that don't even consider hate crimes if someone is killed by their because of their gender identity. And I know that there's some that have happened in your state, and I know there's some that have happened in my state in the last couple of years that again should have brought about more news about this topic.
Yeah.
And so then you have those people within our states who go, oh, it never happens. Well, that's because it's not classified that way because a law was never passed in our state. So
That's
then
right.
you think, oh, it doesn't, again, it doesn't exist. Yes, it does. It just can't be categorized in that manner because we have people in politics who won't pass it.
Well, not
And
to,
it could get worse.
when you think about like the self-deleting, when you got
Yes.
when it's left up to the surviving members of your family on how to report that, as in within the obit, how to name you, describe you, the pronouns they use for you, we don't really even have that data
Nope.
of what's happening there with individuals who are in that kind of distress as the result of the garbage they get here. They're not even properly identified. I know
Nope.
that when my friend Fern, left this world, a lot of us wanted to go to their funeral. And some who were closer to Fern and who understood the family dynamic there, really reached out and said we should all have a celebration of life for them on our own, because that funeral's not the place you're going to want to be. It's going to be full of dead naming. It's going to be full of misgendering, and it's going to be full of religiosity. And it's just going to really be upsetting for all of us who knew Fern. And so we didn't, we had our own thing. So when you've left it to that, you're not going to get accurate data. We don't really know. We don't
We
really know
don't.
how many people, go missing or end up, unalived, because if all we're looking at is the body parts they have on under their clothes at the time that they are found, it just becomes this kind of, one-off story, or it becomes,
Right.
oh, just another sex worker instead
Yep.
of, so I think that the best way, as I said, to honor them, to honor this community on such a somber time of remembrance, is to be out there and be willing to face it with them, and
Right.
in some cases for them. I'm not here to be some kind of cis white savior, but there are times whenever, if something's too much for somebody else to carry, then it's ours to carry.
Right. Right.
You
And
know?
I do. Like I'm not a legal advocate, and I haven't actually signed up for it yet. But Katie, who's going to be on with us in a couple of weeks, they have something that is talking about for North Carolinians that the allies can go to, advocates can go to as well, to learn about what we're expecting with documents, what we're expecting with the legal, the frameworks here in North Carolina, and how they may shift with the upcoming election, like who's going to be coming at federal, and then what we have, the shifts that we had actually at the state level, and how we think that may either help challenge or at least keep what we have in place, kind of deal. So I think I'm going to that as long as something doesn't change. I plan on going to that actually before Mama Bear next week.
Hey, I think
So
you're
that it
such a great point. Anybody who's listening, your state has something. Your state has something. Your
yep,
state has a group. Your town, if you're near a major city, somewhere somebody is doing this stuff. For the love of Pete, get involved.
right.
Get involved. We all have extra time on our hands. Some definitely more than others. I'm not that we all have the same 24
right?
hours, but we all have something we can do. There's
Something,
something that they need that's only they need one person to do that would take you 20 minutes out of your week. There is a way to be involved. I posted on my LinkedIn. Was it Leo or was it Liam who created it? I thought it was Leo who created it. And it is a Google sheet of trans individuals who are looking to flee their states or get,
Leo did that one. Yeah,
I got the L's. I got my favorite L guys. Um, opportunities for us allies to step up and contribute a little. And, like my son's name and gender marker correction were funded like that in 12 hours. His was funded enough for me to help another person. And I didn't go beyond that. I didn't try to, just because there were a lot of places I couldn't post it. But those
right.
are opportunities. Get on there, get on that list, help somebody get a little closer to their goal. Our girl Vanessa, she is not safe in Ohio. She is not safe.
No, she's not safe in Ohio at
Go.
all because she's looking Washington, right?
Right.
Right.
And
Okay.
I think of like, what could I spare this week? Something
Right.
I see there is something I absolutely do not need. I want it. It's a $10 thing. I can throw $10 at that. We talked about this, I think, last week or the week before. Sometimes you can throw money at a problem because the problem can be solved with money. And in that
Right.
case, a couple bucks. That a lot of people just gave a little bit to, my son's thing. And that
Instead of a coffee, like instead of going to get your Starbucks that day.
right. And those little bits got us there and helped a whole nother person. Like, that's the coolest part. So there are little actions that every single person listening, watching, learning can do. It doesn't
Right.
have to be something magnanimous. It doesn't have to break your bank. It doesn't have to be something where you commit and now you're on a board. There is always something you can do, but you're going to have to go find it. I'm not going to knock on your door wherever you are and be like, hey, do you want to help trans people? Go look for ways.
Right. Right. And I'll transition with this little piece. So Jenny and I had someone on last week's YouTube video who had come back in and it got suggested in their like side comments or whatever. And so the person literally tells us like in the
Oh,
very first comment that they watched only a few seconds of it before backing out, but they wanted to understand why we had pronouns next to our names. And so I very nicely said, okay, it's a sign of respect. We do it so that our audiences know our pronouns, but also so they know that this is a signal for them that we are safe spaces. And then she came back but I'm French and I don't understand. Is there like a case change? Is there a language change happening in the video? And this went back and forth. Like I went back and forth with her like twice. And then I hit Jenny up and I was like, I think I'm going to say something rude if I have to keep responding. So Jenny's like, let me go check this out. So then Jenny goes and tries. She's like, let me try and offer or answer this with
I was
curiosity.
with some curiosity. Maybe there's a language barrier here. You're French. And man, I'm the worst. I've told you, I fall for it every time because I always assume people are coming in with good faith arguments. And I was like, maybe this is a language issue. And she just, something's lost in translation. No one lost in translation.
No, she came back and she was like, "Thank you, Jenny, for being so courteous." And like she kind of kissed up to you about your comment, and then she was kind of rude and abrupt with me. And I finally came back and I was like, "Look, for something that you seem to want to understand, you refuse to listen to either
Right.
any of us." Because I was answering from our page, I was answering as myself, and Jenny was answering. So I was like, between three different people who have tried to educate you, you don't want to listen. You
Right.
don't want to hear it. I suggest you move on.
Right.
And if you would like more information, you can Google it.
Give it a Google. And it's, quit acting stupid. It's
And then I hid it. Then I hid the comment because I was like, I'm not even putting this diatribe up here for other people to see. It's garbage. It's garbage.
Amen. But you know what? Every time some people comment like that and get engaged, it draws more viewers. So like
it does. Well, she did. She drew another one. She drew another one who came in and said, what was it? She said, stop harming children. And I was like, hide your comment too, after I reported it. But there you go. There you go. That's the reason why we talk. we talk here because people are out there with all types of misinformation and disinformation. And the more we speak about it, what is really going on, then hopefully we change the minds of women who show up like that. Because I would rather have that conversation back and forth with them in the comment section than for them to run into my kid any
Right.
day of the week,
Right.
or any of our trans siblings to run into them. I would rather have that conversation and try and educate them before you actually run into somebody and insult them or spill your hate on them, because that's the worst piece. But I am going to bring up, so this is Liam's resource that he put out there, and it's resources for transgender community, family, and allies. This is and actually let me pull up my other source page so I can actually read it and see it. This is an extensive list of resources for transgender individuals, covering healthcare providers, mental health support, legal assistance, community networks, safe relocation options, education materials, employment, financial aid, youth services, housing support, and health insurance information. It also includes information on potential asylum options for those facing discrimination. So I'm just going to kind of scroll through real quick so you can see some of it. But he really does, like, he has laid out everything that he possibly could get his hands on within this document. And I believe he was sharing it from yet another site. He added some additional information to it. So that is listed within the comments section. If you need it, you can find the links to it there. And actually, I think there's two separate links. So whether you want to download it as a PDF or however, there was like two different ways to download the document. So yeah, if that's something that you need, you're looking for information, you're looking for some resources, that's definitely something you can go out and find on our page. But I wanted to provide that because I'd seen Liam put that up there as well. And these are resources, like, this is something that's been common over the last 2 weeks between all of my connections that are within these circles, who are either trying to help people relocate, trying to help them change their documents, actual trans people who are really considering their options of whether or not they're going to stay in the country or stay in their state, or if they're going to leave. Because there is a big question. I've got people who are questioning if they're even going to have their jobs anymore, who are psychiatrists and psychologists and have their degrees and are at major facilities, but depending on what someone else's definition comes in and legally changes, could change their entire trajectory of their life in the next few years. There's just a heavy weight within this community. So even though it was after Transgender Day of Remembrance this year, I didn't want to not acknowledge it. We do try and acknowledge it. Pride Month, we really didn't hit a whole lot. I think we got one in right there, squeaking out the end because of my health. I'd been out for surgery and recovery. But this is definitely
On the TransParents Live, every month is Pride Month here. 100%.
right. It is. It is. We're always proud. We're always proud. And yet, for that matter, like, if we can ever get my live to go live on TikTok, we could actually. But I guess if they're moving, I was gonna say, so you're gonna have to give me the information for the other one so I can figure out
Well,
how to start moving my stuff over.
if you create an account and it's going to say on there, like, link your TikTok, and you're going to go, yes. And that's all you got to
Okay.
do. Now, how to create things on there? Will your content
Show up.
show up, migrate over? That I do not know. So I don't know if I'm
Okay.
moving some of my, videos to, like, maybe my Dropbox. I really don't know. I'm terrible with this
I'm
kind of,
moving over.
and I'm a last minute girl. We got till January 19th, but like, no, it's
Right.
going to happen. So, which is really just incredibly sad and disappointing, because there are so many creators that have grown their community there and have, found love and support there.
Right.
I saw a young trans individual from Alabama, a young person, beautiful young person, and they were talking about just the pains of living there as a trans person. And there's just little small town people, and that might be their only, like, connection to a greater outside world of people who do
Right.
have acceptance. You can offer them love and acceptance. Not everything is a major city, and you've got people everywhere,
No.
and that community is just so important. So, it's my hope it will continue.
I mean, I think there was some, I'm not badly fooled, there was some little fine print with that legislation because I actually need to go hunt that down. Because I do think that there was some caveats to it that dependent on certain things, it might stay.
Right. If they were going to sell it, but they've already said, no, we're not selling. Now, the gal who I get this information from, I really trust. She really has been following quite heavily. Like she's, in the fat middle of this. And, I mean, anything can happen, but I'm going to just assume I'm going to prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
We'll start calling you Sherry on that one. That would be one of my mom's comments.
Yeah.
Right there. Right
That's
there.
Cheers, man. It's just preparing for the worst. I don't even have a hope for the best. I'm just going to prepare for the worst.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, oh, well, I don't prepare for the worst. And I say that because I think sometimes what someone considers worst
Right.
is not the worst, right?
Right.
And
Right.
and I know what my worst has been so far in my life, and I refuse to think that for this entire community, that's where it's going. Like I refuse.
Yeah.
I will be rebellious and say, hell no, we are not going there. Not on my watch, not if we can help it. And I do feel like that's what a lot of the allies and the advocates are kind of feeling at the moment. I think it definitely, the results, I think, definitely took the wind out of a lot of people's sails that we thought we were moving in a different direction. And that suddenly was like, oh, hold the brakes. The brakes broke. The brakes broke. And we're careening off of, yeah.
Yay!
Right? Right? Yeah. Whee! We're Thelma and Louise in it. We're Thelma and Louise in it.
Right. Like somehow I'm going to have this really unhinged positivity about it. It is. I got called unhinged and I'm like, I think I might be. I think I don't think I'm insulted by that word. I think I might be unhinged. Here we go.
Who said unhinged?
Lives a TikTok called me unhinged.
Oh.
And I was like,
oh.
What? I'm not sure that's like an insult to me. Yes, I am.
Did you add that in your bio?
Oh, I should have. Unhinged.
You should put unhinged in your bio.
Unhinged woman. Unhinged. Yes.
Because what is it now? What is it now? Because didn't you change it to something like?
Yeah, I said proud mama, hated by Libs of TikTok.
There you go.
Proud mama. What does that even mean? Oh no, like she's really, really passionate about people not, eradicating an entire group of people. She's unhinged. Okay.
Right. Yeah, no.
I think it's the fact that I smile too. Whenever I'm really angry, I smile a lot. And I realize it makes me look a little bit psychopathic and I don't care. Good. I want people to think that I'm absolutely off my rocker. Stay the fuck away from me.
There's another show that I do that's live here on LinkedIn that if y'all haven't ever seen it before, it's Lyrical Labyrinths of Light. And for like the last month for Mental Health Month, we've been covering music all by Ren. And so sometimes his music does get rather black and bleak.
Yeah.
Because he uses a lot of dramatic imagery. Yeah. Even his videos. And so this afternoon, like we kind of did a little movie meetup that some people and I that we do it here on LinkedIn, and it didn't work out. So instead I was like, let me show you, since we're doing this real quick, let me show you a couple of videos of Ren that he just put out. And these are ones that I would not be able to put on LinkedIn because he is using his artistry. One of them is somebody sued him, like tried to say he stole their music, and that's not, like, he bought it legally, he bought the beats, he bought the background, and now they're coming after him to sue him because it went so great for them, right? So he kind of did one of those, like, here's my, it's like a rapper, not reaction, but it's kind of like when they do the rap battles, and so then somebody comes back and like, let me serve you. Well, he came back and served them, and we are all kind of like, would not want to be on his bad side. And he gets into this like really big Joker grin. And that's kind of what I think you're talking about. Because I will at times, it's like, she listens to this stuff? Like, do we need to be worried about her a little bit? Like, I mean, I get you on that. Like, sometimes people are like, is she a little dark and twisty in there? Like, Where did that come from?
Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
just so,
I think it's good. It keeps people guessing. What are you gonna get from us?
uh,
Um,
now I'm gonna get a song, and it's real popular on TikTok right now. And one of the lines, is like, I'm drowning. Uh, you're going down with me. I hope you die. I hope we both die. And I was singing that earlier, and I was like, yeah, like I get that. I get that. Yep. Let's go to
with a big fat grin on your face. I get that.
good. You got to listen to it. You can't help but like kind of smile while you listen to it because it's
Yeah.
really like
Well,
a song. It's
well,
great.
this week I told the boys, I was like, this week we're going to be doing political, or not political, but it's kind of like your mental health, because November is Mental Health Awareness Month, and so we
Yeah.
were talking about how the
Awareness.
impact of power and greed and how they affect our environment, how they affect our healthcare, how they affect our mental health. So they will all be Ren songs, and they are all extremely intense, Joker like, in your face. So this coming week will be going into December. Because well, the other ones were kind of like it was talking about his depression and a lot of like the mental health issues that we talk about, right? It's our mental health month, and so he kind of addressed like all of it. So we just used his chapters of his mental health journey kind of to follow that, and we finished with it, but it was kind of on the not drab, but I guess a bit of the sadder side. And so this is going to kind of take us back into the anger and the make you think, but it kind of that unhinged thing.
Yeah.
This next Friday will definitely be kind of
Yeah.
unhinged.
I love it.
We
I
we
will.
and AP was like, we need some of this, and I'm like, we need some of this energy back because everybody's feeling kind of deflated. Um, so yeah, we're gonna power to the people. Stick around me long enough, and you'll figure out fist to the sky. Like I'm very much in my rebel yell phase. I've been there since 32 or so, and I don't know that I'm leaving it. I
I
may
am.
just stay here.
I am really like we're going to see Wicked tonight. Amber and I were talking about that before the show started. I'm going to see Wicked tonight, and I've already seen like some like was it Moms for Liberty or Moms of Liberty, whatever their stupid name is called, who
Hmm.
to say about Wicked, and I'm like, where are you? Like, where are you? This is a show about somebody who was treated differently, and all of a sudden now they're wicked for standing up for themselves, for
Well,
saying
I think it's that, and it could be the whole witches thing. Because I'll be honest, I came from a family where you weren't supposed to talk about witches.
right. But it's like my daughter was, and I was kind of telling her, I was like, no, it's not really. I mean, it is like a musical about friendship, but more than that, it's about activism and standing up for what you believe in and
Right?
social justice. And it's incredible. I can't wait to see it. I
I
can't
can't
wait.
wait. I can't wait. And yeah, I told you my musical kid moved to Florida, so like the other two are like not the boys are not interested. Um, like they like Rocky Horror,
Yeah.
right? That's their speed, and Wicked is just not up there for them. It's kind of like,
Everybody's got
okay, whatever, mom.
everybody's got their thing.
Right, right. All right, we're gonna do it short because I know you need to go out to Wicked, and I want you to have a great time. Thank you guys for joining us this evening for helping us honor those who have unfortunately we lost this year, but we're hoping that by having more of these conversations with more education, that we don't keep losing people. That honestly, the numbers that we talk about every year go down. I don't want to see them go up. We want to see them go down. Um, we want to see more people upheld as who they are, 100%, no matter what that looks like. You want to be a unicorn, be a unicorn. I mean, I'm a tiger some days. I'm a dragon others. So take your pick.
I'm a honey badger.
Yeah, that's right. You said you were a honey badger. Yeah, I wouldn't mess with you. I would
Better.
not mess with you.
I don't care. I don't care.
You don't care. You don't care. I hear you. I hear you. All
Let's
right.
go.
Woohoo! To zero. Yes, Tamsin, to zero. Absolutely. That's the goal. That's the goal. Or we lose no more. Especially youth. Um, Let's let everybody become adults. Let's all accept everybody as who they are so that everybody can live a happy life as how they choose. I don't want anybody telling me how to live my life. Jenny doesn't want anybody telling them how to live their lives. We just want everybody to be able to live as themselves, our sons included. So, that being said, not sure what next week's about, but we'll be here
We'll be
regardless, 7 o'clock. See you then. Bye.
bye.